Welcome to Sharbot Lake Provincial Park. In this video, I'll be sharing our full camping experience, giving you a quick tour of the park, and letting you know our overall thoughts so that if you're planning a trip here in the future, this video can maybe help you with your planning. Sharbot Lake Provincial Park is located approximately 3 hours northeast of Toronto and an hour north of Kingston. There are over 150 sites, some with electricity, and throughout the park there are quite a few sites that offer waterfront views. Larger trailers can be accommodated in the beachfront and Maple Grove campgrounds. I think it's a great park for water activities and spending some time at the beach. Good morning from Site 43 at Sharbot Lake Provincial Park. We got here quite late last night, so we had to set up in complete darkness. Luckily, we still had some barely there light when we were filling up the trailer at the water station. This site is located pretty close to the highway, so you can probably hear all of the highway noise right now. It's even louder in person, so I don't think I would necessarily recommend this site per se. We haven't even made it out into the park yet, but we are going to go tour around today. But before we go, let me give you a quick look at our site. The site is actually not too bad, all things considered. It's pretty level and there's trees around basically all of it, and we parked the truck at the front to make it a little bit more private. So not only are we close enough to hear the cars going by on the highway, we can actually see them. Just know that if you are booking one of the sites in this area, especially site 43 or the one further down, because you're right beside the highway there. Down at the main beach area, there is a nice sandy beach, but as you can see, we are the only ones here right now, and I think it's just because it's not warm enough yet. Later in the day, when it gets warmer, I suspect this beach will be quite busy. Along the perimeter, there are some picnic tables and shade if you want to sit in the shade, and the beach bottom looks like it's nice and sandy, and the water is pretty clear. Down at the main beach area, you can also find all of the rentals that you can rent at the park store. They have canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. If you are bringing a boat down to the boat launch area, they do have parking, but it's quite a bit of a drive away. So we were gonna drive down our kayaks, then we gotta take a hike to get to the parking spot. We took the kayaks on Black Lake. We drove down to the one boat launch area by the main beach, unhooked everything, dropped off the kayaks, and then Alan went and parked the truck because it was way too far to carry the kayaks or try and do something like that. So that's something to note if you're coming here and have kayaks. There's also a rack down at the boat launch area that you can lock up your own kayaks or canoes there. We made it around the corner, or just around the river bend as we were singing for any Pocahontas fans. And there's a nice little swampy area, but it's not like a swamp, it's just got a lot of lily pads and foliage, and I think I see a whole bunch of turtles on this log over here. Right there. Well, we're out now and Alan's gone to get the truck, so we had pretty good, at least about an hour and so of kayaking here. Very nice conditions. We really liked this lake. At the park store, you can purchase ice and firewood. They also have some essentials inside, as well as you can rent your canoes or kayaks here. And all of the gear is located out in the wood shed, where they've got wood, kindling, ice, and all of the rental equipment like life jackets and the paddles. Sharbot Lake has 4 campgrounds you can choose from. Beachfront, where you'll find 21 electrical sites and the rest are non-electric. Maple Grove, where you'll find 17 sites that are electric and the rest are non-electric. And then The Point and Ridgeview are all non-electric. There is a second boat launch area over on the Sharbot Lake side of the campground, and we were just there. There is a dock, and the parking is kind of around the corner, so another long walk if you are bringing a boat or a canoe or kayak and wanting to launch here at the boat launch. There is a dog beach area located over on Sharbot Lake. I think you have to keep your dog on leash here, but it looks like a nice little spot to bring your four-legged friend. There are two trails here at this park. The Ridgeview is a half-kilometer trail, and then there's the Discovery Trail that's 1.7 kilometers and is a loop. We've made the long drive over to the Ridgeview campground so that we could do the Ridgeview Trail. It's only about a half kilometer, so it shouldn't take us too long, and apparently there are amazing views from the top. So an interesting fact about this trail is that immediately from the parking lot, there's a little trail that goes right up over someone else's campsite. So it seems like you shouldn't be doing it, but it is the trail. So it's just kind of weird because there are people sitting on their campsite watching us walk up the side of their campsite. I feel like this was kind of a lunch bag letdown. There's supposed to be a scenic viewpoint, and unless you go off the trail and kind of find your own scenic viewpoint, which I don't think you're supposed to do, the trail just ends here. That's literally all it says. There's no scenic viewpoint. So we're gonna go back and maybe do the Discovery Trail. Right behind me here looks like somewhere people have made their own little path to go get a view. But I think in the spring or fall, when maybe there's not a lot of foliage on the trees, you might be able to see more. But in the summer, when it's like peak foliage, you can't really see much. Well, we came down to do the Discovery Trail. It's a 1.7 kilometer loop. Another good thing to know about the parking lot for the Discovery Trail is that there's actually a few walk-in campsites right there, so they have designated parking spots. So even though it looks like it could fit 5 or 6 cars, probably not, because 2 of them are specifically for the walk-in campsites. This part's really steep. And just close to the entrance of the Discovery Trail is also the portage. So you can go from Black Lake over to Sharbot Lake by taking this portage. It has a nice dock area, and it's kind of muddy right now, but I think that could just be from all of the rain we've had. And that was the portage. I can't actually imagine carrying a heavy canoe over that, but if you want a portage, you can do that here. We made it to storyboard number 4, but then we decided to turn around because it was getting extra mosquito-y and was going interior, so there was no water views or anything. So we decided we would just backtrack and go back along the water because the mosquitoes are getting bad. I'm pretty sure we just found the worst site in the entire park, and I believe it's number 16, that literally has a gate, like a chain link fence, right on the side of Highway 7, and not any sort of barrier really aside from a chain link fence between you and the highway. Down at the main beach area, there's also the day use area, which has picnic tables and charcoal grills. Near the day use area, there are also composting toilets, there are 4 stalls, and they're not too smelly. You'll also find a covered picnic shelter and a playground in the day use area with quite a bit of parking. We have had quite the rainy weather while we've been here, so the sun is finally out, and I think it's time for us to get back out on the lake. If Sharbot Lake is calmer than it was earlier it was very rough, probably because of the rain, so we're gonna go check it out now. We did have some sunny skies for a little while, But by the time we got our kayaks over here to Sharbot Lake to get in the water, it's gone gray again, but we do see glimpses of the sun, so hopefully we don't get poured on. We kayaked over to the portage area on Sharbot Lake, so right behind me is where you can actually get your canoe or kayak out of the water, walk on the path, and then end up on Black Lake. We considered it, but our kayaks are just too heavy for us, so we're gonna just enjoy this little bay area and then probably head back. Alan is just walking up to get the truck because you're not allowed to park anywhere here down at the boat launch on Sharbot Lake. So he reversed in so that we could take the kayaks out and just like basically put them right in the water. But then he had to go park up the hill. There's also parking over at the dog beach if you wanted to launch maybe from there. We found that the conditions here weren't as great as Black Lake though. So I think if we go kayaking here again, we would probably just stick to Black Lake, and we might even give it another try tomorrow. We decided to come out for one last kayaking adventure here. It's early morning, and when I say early, I mean like 8:30ish, and there's only us and one other canoe on Black Lake that we can see right now. We're going over to the area we didn't get to the other day because it started storming, so we'll see when we get there. There are two beaches here on Black Lake. The first one is in the beachfront campground area. The second one's over between the Point and Maple Grove, I believe, but check the map. Anyways, I think the second beach is nicer in my opinion. It's got more depth to the sand area, and the roped off swimming area seems to be much larger. We're almost at the end of our camping weekend here at Sharbot Lake, so now it's time for me to let you know what I liked and didn't like about this park. I'm going to start with what I liked about this park first. And I really liked the water access here. There were two lakes, which meant that basically no matter where you were in this park, you had easy access to a lake. Black Lake had great canoeing and kayaking conditions while we were here, and they had the main beach and a secondary beach that you could go swimming at, and both of them looked great. Next, I really enjoyed that this park had two trails. We didn't really enjoy the Ridgeview Trail, but we really liked the Discovery Trail. The Discovery Trail had a section that was right along Sharbot Lake, so you had amazing water views. Another thing I liked about this park were the walk-in sites. There were so many to choose from, and many of them even had amazing waterfront views like this one, so if you are into more rugged camping, definitely check out the walk-in sites here. The park was also conveniently located to town, so if you did need to pick up anything, you could do that pretty easily because the park store here didn't have a lot to offer. And lastly, for anyone who has a trailer that needs to dump, I liked the dumping station here because there were two lanes, which meant there were two spots to dump trailers, and just ahead in the lines, there were 3 water filling stations. And now, let me tell you what I didn't like about this park. The first thing I really didn't like about this park was how noisy it was with road noise. Many of the sites are located right along Highway number 7, which means that you are constantly hearing road noise, especially if you are in our campground, which is the beachfront campground. So that's something to note if you're coming here and looking for a more peaceful experience. Try to avoid any of the sites by the road. The next thing I didn't really like was the comfort station location. It was quite difficult to get to depending on where you were camping, and it was the only one that had showers, so if you were looking to use the comfort station, it's going to be quite the hike or you're going to have to drive. And speaking of that, I didn't find this park to be very walkable. It was very spread out, so if you're staying on one end of the park, getting to the other end is going to take you quite the amount of... I'll just wait. Okay. It's gonna take you quite a long time. I would recommend bikes, but here there are lots of winding, steep inclines going up to the other campgrounds. So that's something to note about this park. You're either gonna be walking a lot or having to drive. Overall, we actually enjoyed our stay here despite thinking we weren't gonna like it because of the highway noise. We didn't spend as much time on our site as we anticipated, so it didn't actually bother us too much, and it was actually kind of soothing in the evening to fall asleep to the sound of the highway. But if you don't like road noise, I probably wouldn't recommend this park. It's a great park if you want to be out on the water, canoeing, kayaking, or going to the beach. So overall, we thoroughly enjoyed our stay. Each of the campground areas has their own garbage and recycling just out by the exit. Ours is conveniently located on our way to the dump station, so we're gonna toss our trash now. The dumping station here has 2 lanes, so there are 2 spots that you can dump your trailers at the same time. And then just ahead, there are 3 options for water filling, so if your tank is on one side or the other, you're covered here. Don't forget to check out some of my other Ontario Parks camping videos linked in the description below.
So anyways, that is all we've got for you in this one.
I hope you enjoyed seeing around Sharbot Lake Provincial Park and that this video can be helpful for you if you're planning a trip here in the future. And if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like.
And if you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out our other videos.
And we'll catch you in the next one.